Hello, everyone, and welcome back. So, today we are going to discuss a very, very important topic, and today we are going to know why everyone use Kafka. So, have you ever had a feeling where everyone around you just keep saying you should learn Kafka? Why? Because Netflix use Kafka, Uber use Kafka, and the LinkedIn use Kafka, Amazon use Kafka. But then you open a Kafka tutorial and suddenly you are bombarded with the terms like topic, partition, broker, consumer groups, offset, replication. And what you do, you simply memorize all of them. Maybe you even clear an interview question, but deep inside you still don't know why Kafka even exists. That exactly where I was for the longest time. So Kafka felt like one of those like technologies that everyone recommended, but a very few people explained a way that actually made sense. Then one day I stopped asking what is Kafka. Instead I asked myself what problem were engineering or engineer try to solve before Kafka even exist? And that one question changed everything. Because once I understood the problem, Kafka suddenly become obvious. So in this video, I'm going to start with the topics. I am not going to start with brokers, and I am definitely not going to start with drawing the Kafka cluster. Instead, I'm going to show you the exact mental model that finally made Kafka click for me. By the end of this video, you will understand why database become the bottleneck in modern application, why event-driven architecture exists, what is event actually, and why companies like Netflix, Uber, Amazon, LinkedIn rely heavily on Kafka. And also you will learn why Kafka is one of the most important technologies in the distributed system. So Kafka has ever so today I'm going to remove all the confusion regarding the Kafka and give you a very important knowledge why these companies are using Kafka. So this video is probably the explanation you are waiting for. So let's begin. First of all, let's start with an simple application. So let's forget Kafka for a few minutes. Just imagine you are building a simple online shopping e-commerce website. Nothing complicated. A customer visit your website, add a laptop to the cart, enter the payment details and click, and then he has done a place order. From the customer perspective, everything happens instantly, right? But behind the scene, behind the hood, a lot more is happening. The backend has to actually save the order, process the payment, check fraud, reserve inventory, and notify the warehouse, send an email notification, also generate an invoice, update the analytics, add the loyalty points, right? So these are the so many things are going in the backend. And at first, your architecture is beautifully simple, like where you are doing the front end. So from the front end, you are calling the back end and then you are calling the database, right? So here all service communicate through the same database because you are using a very simple architecture and it works well for a small application, right? But let's say when your application is start growing, okay? So now imagine your company becomes successful and suddenly 10 different services need information whenever a new order is created. So basically inventory want to know, billing want to know, fraud detection wants to know, shipping wants to know, analytics wants to know, and marketing wants to know, and there are n number of services who want to connect with your one order service application. So how do you get that information? Most beginner do something like this. So like whenever, so basically every service keep querying the database, right? It keep on asking, has a new order arrived, has a new order arrived, right? So there is something, the query to the database get executed. So in this manner the database become slow, right? And with that the busiest component in your system, not because storing data is difficult, but because everyone is using it, is an communication channel. So that's the real problem. So if I talk about the real bottleneck, then when I first learned the backend development, I believe the database was the center of every application. Everything reads from it, everything writes to it, and everything depend on it. But distributed system is different. It taught me something completely different. Database database is not the problem. Using database to communicate, that's the problem. So what I mean, imagine 10 service repeatedly asking, did something happen? That incredibly insufficient. Instead, why don't we simply announce that yes, something has happened? The tiny shift in the thinking is called as a event driven architecture. So basically we are going to look more on this. So you can think about YouTube. Okay, suppose your favorite creator uploads a new video. Would million of subscriber refresh YouTube every second asking, did he upload? Of course not, right? Instead, what they will do, they will subscribe your channel. And the moment a new video is uploaded by the content creator of that particular channel, you will receive a notification and then you will know, okay, he has uploaded a new video. So here, nobody wastes resources constantly checking whether the new video has been uploaded or not. So that exactly how event-driven system work. Instead of continuously asking, service simply wait. When something happened, they get the notification. Simple, right? And this is efficient way also, I believe. So that is a event-driven architecture. So here, the user has to subscribe to the event instead of continuously checking for the changes. If the changes are done, then the user will get the notification because he has already subscribed it. Correct? So that is the event driven approach. So let's go ahead and let's understand what is an event. So basically, people often like overcome complicate this. An event is simply a fact. It says something happened, that's it. For example, like when the user place an order, the order is created. When the payment is done, a payment is completed. Let's say a user registered, invoice generated, shipment shipment delivered. So these are the things where something is happening, right? So every event carries useful information. If I talk about regarding the order, so there we have a order created event when order is created. Here you might include order ID, customer ID, purchase ID, timestamp, shipping address, payment status. Instead of 10 service querying the database, the application publish a event once where every information will be available. So whoever is interested, whoever is subscribed to that particular event, or particular to that service, then that will receive the notification. An event will receive to him where he can get all the information to it, right? So this is about the event. Now if we go ahead, we can say Kafka. uh, so when Kafka entered to this picture, so when, if you notice something important, Kafka does not replace your backend, right? Kafka does not replace your application also. In the most cases, what it does, Kafka does not even replace your database. Your database is still responsible for storing the data. Kafka just solve a completely different problem, that is communication. Think of a Kafka like a postal service. Suppose you want to send letter to 50 different people. So do you personally visit every house of 50 people? No, right? You drop one letter into the postal system. Postal system take responsibility from there. Kafka works exactly the same way. A service publish an event, Kafka store it safely. Every interested service receive its own copy. So basically the sender does not care who receives it, right? That is incredibly powerful architecture, and that is how the Kafka works. So there are two architectures. I mean the traditional ones. And so in the traditional ones, what happens? If you create an order, then you call to a billing service, then you wait, okay, and then you call to the inventory service, and once you will get the acknowledgement from the inventory service, then only so you are going to call the next service, that is a warehouse. So in every calling service there is a waiting period, right? And when the warehouse call, you will get the acknowledgement, then you will call the email service where the notification will be done. So here what is happening in a traditional architecture, every service get blocked to the next one. Now in the Kafka event driven architecture, if we compare, then what we do, we create an order, publish order created event, and done, that's it. Now, whoever has subscribed to it, for example, let's say the billing has subscribed, the billing service has subscribed, so billing will listen. Let's say inventory service has subscribed, then the inventory will be listening. Warehouse should be listening, analytics service should be listening, fraud shipping service should be listening. Everyone, whoever has subscribed to the order service should be listening, and whenever they will receive the event, then they will work with that. So that is called a loose coupling. And loose coupling is one of the biggest reason in the modern distributed system get scale very well. And Kafka event driven architecture provide that feature, right? So here you need to publish once and Kafka deliver to everyone. There is no waiting, no blocking, no direct dependency. I hope you understand what Kafka is solving here. Let's see why the important companies love this model. For example, imagine that on Amazon propose one like 1 million order today. Each order may trigger dozen of downstream actions. Now imagine every service directly calls every other service. Soon you will have 100 of connections. Communication will be so much that it will be very hard to track and get the response. So basically, every new feature requires modification to the existing code. Every service knows about every other service. So deployment will become risky and complicated. Scaling will be a painful, right? Now imagine Kafka. Okay, check out service published and the order is created. Whoever has subscribed, inventory, billing, fraud, warehouse, shipping, all the other services in a, let's say in a 6 month later, if a new AI recommendation team joins and they want to modify the checkout service, so they simply have to subscribe the order service. So whenever a new order created event will be published by the order service, and the new service which has been developed soon or like recently will receive that event. So that simple is that. So that is the beauty of event driven architecture. So system will grow naturally without rewriting the existing code. So that is the beauty of Kafka event driven systems. So basically before I the understood the event driven architecture, Kafka looks like another complicated distributed system. After I understand the problem, Kafka become obvious for me. because application don't become difficult because the database are slow. They become difficult because dozens, sometimes hundred of independent services are calling to each other, so it is very hard to handle them. They need to exchange the information, right, without becoming tightly connected. So Kafka provide that communication layer. It allows application to communicate through the events instead of direct conservations or direct communications basically. Once this clicked, concepts like producer, consumer, topics, partitions, consumer groups, offset all started making sense naturally, because now I was not memorizing the technology terms. I was understanding why those concepts exist and why these are important to understand to use the Kafka, right? So this is very, very important. So here I want to conclude and say, if one lesson I love you, I love to remember from this video is that don't start by learning the terminology or technology. Start by understanding the problem. Once you understand the problem, then you will understand the concept of that particular technology by which you are going to solve it. Once you truly understand the problem, the technology almost explain itself. That's exactly what happens with Kafka. If you are seriously about mastering system design and the distributed system, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification. If this video helped you to understand the Kafka, then please let me know in the comment. And also and also you can put your queries anytime. I'm happy to reply you back with the answer. And if you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, share it is with someone, or if someone is preparing for the system design interview, so help them by sharing the video, and subscribe for more deep dive videos in the software architecture. So thank you for watching.